It is directed by Andy Muschietti, and again, my wife Karen has coulrophobia, so she's not here to review this movie, but who is here is my brother Alan.
Hey everybody, this is a spoiler-free review, so if you have not seen the movie, you are safe here.
The latest version of It stars Jaeden Lieberher, Jeremy Ray Taylor, Sophia Lillis, Finn Wolfhard, Chosen Jacobs, Jack Dylan Grazer, Wyatt Oleff, and Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Dancing Clown.
Like the 1990 version, this 2017 rendition of It is based on the 1986 novel by Stephen King. And it's about 7 friends who face off against Pennywise the Clown, who torments people by feeding on their fears.
And in order to keep this review spoiler-free, we are going to break this review down into 2 sections. That is the things that didn't work and the things that did work, in our opinions. So positives and negatives. And one of the things that I thought did not work in this movie was there wasn't enough character development in this movie. We didn't get enough time to really get to know each individual character. Yes, as a group we get to kind of know them and who they are, but individually we don't get enough introduction to each character.
Each aspect of each child that makes them important to the 7 is not explored in depth.
Yeah, and it's sad because these characters are well written in the book. In the 1990 version, you know who they are and what they stand for, what they do. And in this one, it's very vague. And that's okay. I mean, it is a horror movie, so it's mainly just about scaring you. I guess another negative would be it wasn't that scary.
It wasn't.
To be
it was
honest.
more of a thriller than a horror.
I found it creepy for sure, but not scary. They relied too much on jump scares, to be honest.
Agreed. I felt that in this particular version of the film, they really focused in on building the moment and scaring you as quickly as possible before moving on to the next scene. It was almost like you're in a haunted house. Mm-hmm. So you walk to one scene and you're scared, and then you're immediately not scared. And then you're scared, and then you're not scared. And it's building basically to the next moment where you're going to get scared. And to me, growing up at a time where practical effects were all that we had as children, CGI just doesn't scare me. It's not real. To me, it's like a cartoon. Like, you can't scare me with a cartoon. You can kind of creep me out a little bit, but when you're trying to ultimately use a CGI-based anything to scare me, it just for me personally, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's because it's fake.
There was definitely an over-reliance on CGI in this movie. Not that it was bad CGI.
No,
CGI was incredible
CGI.
In this movie. That's actually one of my positives. But
it's a negative and a positive.
There was too much of it to where it kind of pulls you out of the experience. And you're like, okay, that's an effect. That's
fake.
That's fake. That's not really that scary anymore. Yeah. And another thing that it rubbed me the wrong way is they took the R rating and kind of abused it with the language in particular.
I think it's partially because we're getting older and we're realizing these kids, 12 years old, I guess.
Yeah.
In real life, I'm not sure exactly of their ages, but it kind of shows our age a bit when we're sitting there. Those kids were swearing too much.
Them whippersnappers. I mean, I had friends as growing up who kind of talked a little like that. I mean, they swore a lot, but not to that extent, and not with that inappropriateness of the language. And that just it bothered me a little bit. Because, I mean, just as an actor, I was like, why are you letting these kids talk like that?
I would not be happy if that was my child on the screen cursing as much as these. And not just cursing. We should be clear, a little bit clear. It's literally the F word almost. That's pretty much most of the curse words that they use is the F word. And it's in there pretty prominently. And
quite a bit of genitalia jokes, too, which was kind of... I mean, the problem is the jokes were funny, but they were just... Coming from a kid, it made it a little more uncomfortable.
We're lame old prudes.
We're getting older, so yeah.
Another thing that we found to be a bit of an annoyance, shall we say, is the horror movie cliches. Basically, you hear a sound, in normal life you would probably not go exploring, especially if you knew there was a crazy killer clown somewhere around the area, or something clearly not real, and you go after it, and you put yourself in harm's way unnecessarily. It's a horror movie mixed in with a thriller type of a movie. So you get the elements of a horror movie with the creature, it, and you also get the elements of the thrill movie where these kids are capable of outsmarting it, fighting it, and you kind of you have to kind of blend that together well, and that's not an easy thing to do. And while I don't think they did a terrible job at it, I think they could have done better from my own perspective if maybe have pulled more again. If you've watched our 1990 review, have done a little bit better job of sticking to some of the source material and how Stephen King built the scenes. Stephen King built each scene a specific way, and not even just each scene, but the story arc. So the story flows so well into each moment, whereas, we said before, you're stuck with these cliches of, well, if you hear something off in XYZ direction, you should go over there and check it out, leaving everyone behind, despite the fact that the last time you did that, maybe 20 minutes ago or the day before, that didn't turn out too well for you. So, and I get it, that's the genre. Horror genre is literally people doing dumb things. Tucker Dale versus Evil is one of my favorite horror movies, even though it's not a horror movie. It's a horror comedy, and it just portrays every beautiful element of a horror movie. It was laughable.
So while those are our negatives, and some of them are pretty big, there are some really good things about this movie, things that work really well. And like we said, the CGI in this film is incredible. Yes, it's overused, but it looks photorealistic. And there wasn't a moment that I was like, oh, that looks cheap. You could tell it was CGI. Another thing, the acting in this movie was very good.
Yes, it was.
It was 100 times better than the 1990 version, but that's not really saying much.
Because that was a made-for-TV movie.
Yes, exactly. And this one had a bigger budget, so maybe the actors had a better incentive to act better. But Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise,
he was perfect.
Incredible.
Yeah.
He got wrapped up in that role, and he redefined the role that Tim Curry originally defined, and Tim Curry did such a great job in the original one, but Bill Skarsgård took it to a different direction, and it worked really well.
He definitely filled the shoes rather well. He definitely took his own element on. It's almost like a Jack Nicholson Joker to a Heath Ledger Joker. Both fantastic portrayals of Joker, and each with their own way of bringing that character to life.
Yeah, and they're both clowns. Another thing that worked really well is the creepiness. Like we said earlier, it wasn't scary, but it was creepy. Mm-hmm. And that aspect of it worked really, really well. And again, I would have liked a little more horror, maybe a little more suspense.
Suspense, I think, was lacking. But
yes.
I still think they did a good job. And again, to harp from the book scenes were very well depicted. To what they stuck to the book, they stuck to very well. They did a fantastic job of updating it to fit into that particular movie.
Popcorn Trivia is a movie trivia app that you can download on your Android or Apple device.
You can play single player or multiplayer, which allows you to play with your friends, family, or even people you don't know.
In this game, you can customize your own avatar, choose from hundreds of movies and TV shows. In fact, they release a new movie from the theaters every Friday, and a regular old movie and a TV show on New Movie Friday. So be sure to check out this game, guys. It's called Popcorn Trivia, and test your movie knowledge. So I'm not much of a horror movie fan. I don't really watch that many. I can't even remember the last horror movie that I saw in the theaters. It might have been The Grudge. But this movie surprised me. I actually really enjoyed it. It did creep me out. I wasn't scared, but there were some creepy elements in it. And like we said, the CGI was incredible. There was a lot going for this movie. And I give it, the 2017 version, an A-. There's only a couple things that I would have changed, maybe more practical effects, but overall it's a really enjoyable movie.
Like Mike, I haven't been to see a horror movie in the theaters for a very long time. I can't even remember the last one I saw. It may have been The Ring 2 or maybe even The Blair Witch Project. But the fact that this movie drew me to the theater and really kept me entertained throughout the whole thing for this time period and the genre, I'd have to give it a B+, which is a matching grade to what I gave the 1990 version in our other review, so check that out if you haven't already. My reasoning is that I think that they really, really, really dropped the ball on the individual character development. That to me is one of the most crucial elements of this story, and that is why I can't give it an A rating. That is so crucial to this story, this book that Stephen King wrote, to the 1990 version even, is the individual characters' development and how that works within the group. It plays a key role in everything.
So that is our review for It, the 2017 version. If you have seen this movie, guys, what did you think of it? Did you like it, love it, or hate it? Without spoiling anything, let us know in the comments below.
We also reviewed the 1990 version, so you should check that out. There are spoilers, but feel free to leave your thoughts and other spoilers on that one. Additionally, we're going to be doing a spoiler review, so if you have seen the movie and you want to get more in depth with the comments and with our thoughts, be sure to check that out. It's coming out, should be coming out soon.
Depends on how fast I can edit. And if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a big ol' thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can be notified of when we upload new content.
And go see it.
Yes, it's definitely worth seeing in the theaters.
Absolutely.
And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.